I recall that evening when my sister's voice erupted, filling the air with its unmistakable volume. What seems to be the issue? As I sat before the screen, the breathtaking surroundings enveloped me. Eliza, where have you gone? Could you lend me a hand? What seems to be the issue? Filled with a sense of urgency as though a crisis were unfolding. I sprang to my feet and inquired, what's the matter? Her voice resonated from the restroom, laced with disbelief. I had overlooked my garments. Would you be so kind as to venture up to my room and retrieve them for me? My sister was a kind and caring soul, yet she often found herself lost in the haze of forgetfulness. In the past, she had asked me to buy things for her, but this occasion felt distinct. I ascended to my room. She searched for the garments she had abandoned and carried them down to the restroom. As I knocked, she swung the door open a bit wider than normal, her hands moving hurriedly to gather the scattered clothes. Yet, in that fleeting instant, the bathroom light shimmered upon her fair skin, illuminating every contour of her form that had caught me off guard. Confusion washed over me, prompting a swift glance in another direction, yet my heart continued to race, and my gaze remained inexorably drawn to the image before me. Since that day, I, Eliza, have sensed a transformation within my heart. She remained my sister, the one person in the house who understood me best, yet the eerie, lingering sensation from that moment clung to me, drawing me into a vortex of dark thoughts. Uncertainty loomed over me, casting shadows on the path to confront her and, in turn, myself. This year, my sister and celebrated her 24th birthday. She is an enchanting and self-assured woman who captivates the gaze of all those in her vicinity. Her figure is slender, her face is delicate, and most notably, her waist is strikingly captivating, impossible to overlook. Embracing her free-spirited essence, she often adorns herself in sleek, form-hugging garments. Be it within the confines of home or amidst the bustling world outside, those costumes seem to accentuate her beauty in a way that captivates me. Intentional or not, they send my heart racing with each glimpse. My heart has transformed since that evening when I caught a fleeting sight of her in the bathroom through the slightly ajar door. The soft yellow glow danced upon her fair skin while the shimmering water cascaded over her curves, etching the moment into my memory forever. Such events ought not to have transpired, nor should they have remained in my mind for an extended period. Yet, that emotion, that fixation, lingers like a specter, haunting me and refusing to depart. Initially, I attempted to reassure myself that all would eventually fade and that the vision was merely an unfortunate happenstance. Yet, each night as I settled into bed, the events of the day returned to me with striking clarity. There were moments when I would awaken in the dead of night, beads of cold sweat tracing down my forehead, grappling with the unwelcome thoughts that invaded my mind. Yet, the harder I fought, the more those emotions intensified, wrapping around me like a relentless fog. Each day, akin to a flame that consumed my rationale, she persisted in her serene existence within our modest abode, blissfully ignorant of the turmoil brewing within me. She laughed and joked with me as she always did, her familiar clear voice ringing in my ears. What once felt ordinary now stirred something deeper within me as I gazed into her sparkling eyes and caught a whiff of the lovely perfume she wore, filling my heart with an unfamiliar warmth. There was an inexplicable sensation within me, one I couldn't quite articulate. All I understood was that I had lost my essence. As she settled onto the sofa, her form-fitting attire added an extra layer of challenge, especially with her long legs elegantly crossed. The act of tying her hair up unveiled her graceful neck and bare shoulders, drawing attention to her poised demeanor as she watched TV. Each detail ensnared me in a web of contradictory emotions. Humiliation washed over me, a deep-seated shame intertwined with an undeniable longing that lingered in the shadows. Still, I endeavored to maintain an air of calm composure. I conversed and shared laughter with her, as though the past had never occurred. I assisted her with small tasks around the house, engaged in light conversations about everyday matters, and at times, playfully teased her. I longed to witness her smile, yet beneath those exchanges lay an unseen struggle, one whose resolution remained a mystery to me. I refrained from meeting her gaze for an extended moment, apprehensive that she might uncover the turmoil within me. After a long day, I chose to unwind in my room with a film intended for mature audiences. This wasn't my first encounter with such a scenario, yet perhaps due to my fluctuating emotions and the chaotic swirl of thoughts in my mind, everything appeared more alluring than ever before. After watching, I reclined on the bed, enveloped in a haze, the vivid images and emotions clinging to my thoughts until a sharp knock on the door pulled me back to the present. "Eliza, step outside with me for a moment and let's gather some vegetables for dinner." Her remarks, as always, navigated the delicate line between urgency and tenderness. I replied affirmatively, asking for a moment, and swiftly rose to my feet, adjusting my attire, momentarily oblivious to the absence of my undergarments as I made my way to the living room. My gaze was instantly captured by Anne's image. She wore a fitted t-shirt that accentuated her slender waist and short shorts that showcased her long, pale legs. Every one of those flawless lines rendered my thoughts momentarily paralyzed. The thoughts I had attempted to suppress surged forth like a tumultuous wave, an unusual feeling enveloping me. Within my heart, a rose bloomed, embodying a blend of admiration and confusion that eluded my comprehension. I endeavored to maintain my composure, to brush aside the tumult of emotions surging within me as I drew closer to her, yet my body betrayed my intentions, responding with a will of its own. A wave of awareness washed over me as I sensed my small man stirring to life, and to complicate the situation further, I realized with a jolt that I was completely devoid of any undergarments. My whole being seemed to conspire against my thoughts, thrusting me into an uncomfortable and chaotic predicament, and then she erupted into laughter, her voice reverberating through the stillness of the hall. Her gaze met mine, brimming with an ineffable emotion. Her laughter was a mystery to me, leaving me puzzled about its source. "What seems to be the issue? Is there anything amusing?" I attempted to mask my astonishment, yet her laughter only intensified, compelling her to turn away to escape my gaze. "Eliza, venturing out in this manner isn't beneficial for your well-being," she exclaimed, her hand instinctively rising to her mouth as she fought to suppress her laughter. I stood frozen, a mere statue in the heart of the living room, as her laughter echoed around me, leaving me utterly bewildered. I inquired, "What troubles you? Did I happen to do something amusing?" Yet she averted her gaze, striving to mask the flush of embarrassment that crept over her. "No, it's nothing at all. Ascend to the upper level." "I'll go alone," she said, her voice laced with hesitation and gravity, as if she were trying to mask an unspoken truth. I remained rooted to the spot, gazing at her in a state of confusion. What was her initial motivation for wanting me to join her? Simply to guide her to venture forth on her own? Though doubt lingered in my mind, I found myself at a loss for further inquiries. I stepped back into the room, my mind a swirling tempest of thoughts. As I strolled by the mirror, my gaze lingered, and I understood the source of her laughter. I found myself without undergarments, while my son had been proudly displaying his flag for some time. My cheeks ignited with the heat of embarrassment. I found myself frozen, engulfed in humiliation, grappling with uncertainty about my next move. The sound of her laughter lingered in my mind. Were you unaware of it? Clearly, she did, otherwise such a hearty laugh would not have escaped her lips. Yet, what prevented her from expressing it outright? What prompted her to quietly request my departure? Upon my return to the room, a flurry of questions emerged, quickening the beat of my heart. Was she merely amused by the comical scenario, or was there a deeper intention behind her laughter? I reclined on the bed, my hands shielding my face, yearning to escape the unsettling sensation that enveloped me. Yet, the image of Anne, her laughter echoing, and that peculiar sense of disorientation lingered on. I found myself pondering whether she held me in the same regard as I did her, or if my insecurities were merely a product of chance. Regret weighed heavily on my heart, yet a flicker of hope lingered. Upon returning home, thoughts of her consumed my mind. Embarrassment lingered within me, a shadow of the recent event. Though uncertainty clouded my thoughts, a part of me couldn't shake the feeling that she had caught a glimpse of something amusing moments before. The deeper I delved into my thoughts, the more my cheeks flushed, as though I had been discovered in a moment of indiscretion. Nevertheless, I compelled myself to maintain composure and behave as though nothing was amiss. I made the choice to head to the kitchen alongside my sister, intent on preparing dinner while striving to mirror our usual demeanor. Upon entering, I immediately voiced my thoughts, as is my custom. "Your back is present. Is the market bustling with a crowd of people?" And did not look back. She responded with a tidy assurance, "It's fine, though a tad crowded. Please enter and lend me your assistance." I approached her, nodding as I made my way to the spot where she was diligently washing the vegetables. I settled into my task, meticulously separating each branch of vegetable for her to ready for boiling. The room held a serene stillness, punctuated solely by the gentle trickle of water from the sink faucet, yet within me, a tension simmered just beneath the surface. I was uncertain whether she truly perceived what had just transpired or if I was merely complicating matters. I believed that if I refrained from bringing it up again, it would all fade away. Yet, in that very instant, her voice pierced the silence, causing me to tense up. "Have you finished yet?" I was utterly astonished. Her words struck me like a sudden blow, sending ripples through my already fragile mind. Though I grasped the essence of her implication, I lacked the bravery to confront it. My entire being became still, caught in a moment of uncertainty, unsure of how to respond. My heart raced, yet I feigned ignorance to her meaning. "Ah, I have completed the task of breaking it. It ought to be fine, shouldn't it?" She glanced my way, her eyes sparkling with a playful unpredictability. She offered a gentle smile and gave a slight nod. "If you have finished, then let it be. I am able to proceed." Her voice carried an air of normalcy, yet there was an undercurrent in her words tinged with jest and playfulness that left me feeling profoundly embarrassed. I remained silent, merely nodding as I rose to my feet, then made my way upstairs. "Proceed with your thoughts." I felt a hint of fatigue wash over me, and with a faint smile, I chose to remain silent. I slipped away from the kitchen, attempting to maintain an air of nonchalance, yet my heart raced with chaos as I returned to my room. I fell onto the bed, engulfed by a wave of shame and embarrassment. Her question reverberated in my mind, leaving me to ponder whether she truly grasped the thoughts swirling within me. I reclined on the bed, my hands shielding my face, engulfed by a sense of confusion and helplessness. I must exercise restraint. This is my sister, and indeed, she is my sister. I recounted it as a gentle nudge to my memory. Yet the vision of her in the kitchen, her radiant smile, and her playful voice lingered in my mind. Trapped in the aftermath of that evening, once the family had concluded their meal, I retreated to my room to tidy the disarray that had accumulated in the corner of my desk. The stillness enveloped the room, broken only by the gentle chorus of insects serenading the night beyond the window. As I was engaged in the task of organizing my books, a gentle knock echoed from the door. "Who might it be?" I inquired, my tone tinged with curiosity. It was Marissa, her voice resonating in gentle and recognizable notes. "Could you lend me a hand with something?" I promptly responded, "No issue at all. What do you need?" As I spoke, I drew closer and opened the door, revealing her before me. Yet, the first detail that captured my attention was her pajamas. She wore a light blue silk nightgown, its delicate fabric beautifully complementing her flawless white skin. The dress boasted a deep V-neck, elegantly showcasing her collarbone and slender shoulders. My heart raced, yet I endeavored to keep a composed facade. With a playful grin, she stepped into the room, her phone held tightly in her grasp. "There seems to be an issue with my phone. It crashes unexpectedly whenever I attempt to open the program." I attempted to restart it, yet it proved ineffective. "Would you be able to assist me?" I acquiesced and accepted the phone from her grasp. "Allow me to give it a go. It is probably merely a software glitch, perhaps stemming from an app conflict or a recent operating system update," and remained as composed as ever. Her presence in this confined space, particularly clad in her pajamas, left me bewildered. I glanced at my phone, delving into the settings with curiosity. True to form, her operating system was outdated and failed to align with the current version of the application. "I conveyed that your phone requires an upgrade to its operating system. Allow me to download the latest update, reinstall it, and everything will be in order." "Oh, is that so? What a relief. I was afraid it was broken," she said, her voice gentle and calm as I leaned down, grappling with the download. The update revealed her penetrating gaze. From the periphery of my vision, I caught a fleeting glimpse of her. Her gaze wasn't fixed on the phone or my actions. Instead, her eyes were directed downward, resting upon me. In that moment, she offered a smile that was both enigmatic and beyond my comprehension. I halted, striving to conceal my embarrassment, yet within me, my confusion swelled to an overwhelming degree. I recognized that expression, understood the revelation that had just unfolded before her, yet I lacked the courage to confront it or articulate the truth. "I managed to reinstall it," I stammered, attempting to ease the tension in the air. "Oh, so quick?" "Thank you," she replied, a faint smile lingering on her lips. She reclaimed the phone from my grasp, her gaze flickering momentarily to my face, as if seeking to measure my response. "It's merely a trivial error, nothing more," I responded, striving to maintain an air of composure. Yet beneath the surface, I was acutely aware that this tranquility was merely a mask. Her appearance and delicate gestures today stirred a torrent of feelings that I struggled to contain. Having returned N's phone and believing the matter concluded, I readied myself to rise and watch her exit the room. Before I could utter a word, she pivoted, leaning towards me. And did I ask if something's wrong? From across the table, she inquired, her voice gentle yet laden with significance. Do I appear beautiful? Eliza, the unforeseen inquiry left me pondering how best to respond. I offered a hesitant smile, searching for a means to divert his attention. Isn't it simply stunning? What has prompted you to ask that all of a sudden? Is there something amiss? And that is precisely why you offered your salute. Her words struck like a thunderbolt, sending a rush of blood to my face, my heart racing, and my entire being engulfed in confusion, unsure of how to respond. I swiftly shook my head and rejected it without hesitation. No, it's not quite that way. What's on your mind? Yet her gaze remained fixed on me, and that subtle smile only deepened my sense of embarrassment. With each deliberate step, she drew nearer, and I couldn't shake the sensation that the confines of the small room were closing in around me. I took a step back, attempting to maintain my distance. Yet in an instant, she surged forward, her hands gripping my shoulders, her face mere centimeters from my own. Eliza, what are you afraid of? We are both grown, and I can sense your thoughts. I've witnessed it all before. I averted my gaze, unwilling to meet her eyes. What exactly are you referring to? Cease the jesting. It lacks humor. Yet, she persisted, inching nearer, her warm breath brushing against my neck, intensifying my anxiety like never before. Eliza, what is it that keeps you from reaching out to me? I know you want me to. Anna's voice was gentle, yet her words cut through my thoughts like a blade. The atmosphere grew dense, my heart racing with such intensity that it felt as though it might burst free from my chest. Don't say it, I urged, my voice quivering yet resolute, a barrier against the encroaching threat. I took a step back, putting space between us, my gaze fixed intently on her. Are you aware of the words you are expressing? This is not right, and you are my sister. For a fleeting moment, her eyes shimmered with anguish as she stepped closer, her voice barely above a whisper tinged with desperation. Eliza, cease the self-deception, your eyes reveal all. There's no need to conceal or feign your feelings. A chill coursed through my entire being, yet my mind stood resolute against it. I inhaled deeply, striving to maintain my composure amid the swirling chaos of confusion and anxiety. No, you are mistaken. I do not share the perspective, nor do I desire such things. We are brothers, we are family. She came to a stop, her expression heavy with sorrow and remorse. Her gaze sought mine, searching for a cue to proceed, yet I held my ground, resolute in my decision to prevent her from advancing any further. At last, she turned her eyes away, as though the truth was too daunting to face. Her voice fell to a mournful whisper. I'm sorry. I'm not sure why I feel this way. Perhaps I should retreat to my room. She averted her gaze, each deliberate step appearing to pull along the lingering discomfort that hung in the air long after the door had shut. I fell onto the bed, as though I had narrowly evaded the wrath of a fierce hurricane. My thoughts swirled in utter chaos, leaving me with no escape. Anne's words echoed in my thoughts, each phrase and term sinking profoundly into my very being. She remarked that I needn't feign a desire for her. Those statements seemed to reveal the emotions I had endeavored to conceal. Though I hesitated to acknowledge her correctness, I could not escape the truth that, following a series of seemingly accidental meetings, I harbored negative feelings towards her. Yet, my rational mind firmly reminded me of our bond as siblings, a line that could never be crossed. I became acutely aware of the perilous nature of this situation. Each word she spoke and every action she took this evening shattered the delicate wall that had stood between us. Should I lose my grip on reason, should I allow myself a moment of surrender, the entire structure would crumble. In a state of utter disrepair, I found myself alone in the desolate room, my heart racing with a profound sense of grief. Uncertainty clouded my thoughts as I grappled with the question of blame. Was it her fault, or was I to bear the weight of responsibility for allowing circumstances to spiral out of control? That night, sleep eluded me. I reclined in bed, gazing up at the dark ceiling, contemplating the events that had unfolded within a single day. My relationship with her had transformed profoundly. I recalled her gaze, her grin, and the unspoken contradictions that lingered beneath the surface. She was the one I had always looked up to, the one I felt a deep connection with. Yet now the complexities of our situation loomed large, making it impossible to confront the uncertainty of what tomorrow might bring. Should I remain in this place? Would I ultimately surrender to my own impulses? I realized that regardless of the intensity of human emotions, they cannot resist temptation if it is permitted to persist, and I found myself too close, too familiar, and too frightened. A sense of unease gripped me, for I feared that without establishing some distance, every boundary would vanish entirely. Following a night steeped in contemplation, I resolved to embark on an act of bravery. I came to understand that there was only one path forward. In order to preserve my well-being and avoid a decision I could never take back, I found it necessary to depart. I sought refuge, yearning for the distance that would keep these emotions at bay. This was not merely a remedy for the present circumstances. It was, in fact, the sole means of safeguarding our cherished familial bonds. The following morning, while the family gathered around the breakfast table, I resolved to share my intentions with them. My tone carried a weight of seriousness, yet it was laced with confusion. Dear Mom and Dad, it seems the time has come for me to embark on a new chapter and move out. My father set his teacup aside and regarded me with a look of astonishment. What has prompted this sudden desire to venture out? Youth is still on your side. Isn't it more convenient to remain at home? Is there an issue at hand? My mother gazed at me, her eyes filled with worry. Is everything all right, Eliza? Or do you sense a discomfort within the confines of your home? Kindly share your thoughts with us. Embrace your confidence. I attempted to muster a smile to sway my parents, even as my own feelings waged a silent battle within me. No, Mom and Dad, I truly believe I've matured and it's time for me to embrace my independence. I am convinced that stepping outside will aid me in mastering self-management and equip me more effectively for what lies ahead. My father furrowed his brow, deep in thought, yet after a moment he finally gave a reluctant nod. Should you have arrived at this decision, we shall honor it. Should you encounter any challenges, we kindly ask that you inform us without delay. Your home is always a place you can return to. He glanced at my mother, her expression tinged with concern, yet she remained silent. It is essential to prioritize your well-being. Are you in need of help selecting a home, relocating your possessions, or anything else that may arise? I was certain that this choice was the right one for both Ed and me. Time and space were essential for me to navigate these emotions, allowing me to rediscover myself and maintain the unity of my family after everything I had endured. An invaluable lesson was imparted to me. Emotions present a formidable challenge, yet they are far from insurmountable. In our moments of vulnerability, we may find ourselves engulfed by murky feelings, blurring the boundaries of ethics and familial ties. Being aware of right and wrong while maintaining a sense of reason are crucial elements in avoiding irreversible errors. It is my conviction that expressing one's emotions is not inherently flawed. However, grasping the significance of establishing appropriate boundaries can be crucial at times. Distance was created not as a means of escape, but as a safeguard for more vital concepts: affection, admiration, and self-worth. The most profound lesson I gleaned is that true courage encompasses not just the act of confronting challenges, but also the wisdom to recognize when to step back, preserving what is most precious. Choosing to exit a perilous circumstance is not an indication of frailty. Instead, it is a vital and prudent action. In order to safeguard yourself and those in your vicinity from the potential dangers of the narrative, I offer some counsel for all. In the journey of life, we inevitably encounter unexpected occurrences that evoke powerful emotions beyond our control. These feelings, whether fleeting or enduring, can result in errors if we lack the skills to manage them effectively. Consequently, I recommend maintaining a keen awareness of boundaries in every interaction. When you find yourself ensnared in an overwhelming emotional whirlwind, take a moment to reflect. Is this feeling truly worth the cost of your cherished belongings? Engaging in mindfulness and self-reflection allows for a deeper understanding of how responding to emotions can threaten the values you hold dear, including family connections, personal honor, and self-worth. If you find yourself struggling to maintain control, consider stepping away or reaching out for support from family, friends, or a mental health professional. Avoidance should not be perceived as a flaw. Instead, it serves as a strategy for safeguarding oneself against greater harm. Bear in mind that the choices you embrace today hold the power to shape not only your own destiny but also the paths of those around you. Upholding boundaries and staying true to your beliefs and values is the most powerful path to a serene and fulfilling existence. This is where my tale concludes. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my narrative. I look forward to our next encounters in the upcoming videos.